Hello everyone, my name is Coder Singh, and today I will be making tutorials on ReactJS but using TypeScript. So first thing first, so we should be sure create React app -v. So we are checking the version of the particular project. Okay, it's minus version. So my version is 2.1.8, and just make sure you guys have the same version or higher than that particular version because we need TypeScript and create. We need TypeScript to make our new application. So this particular flag, which is dash dash TypeScript, comes with this version or version, and will be shipped with versions more than above that particular version. So I created a React app using create React app, and the name of the app is state app. I will be uh, telling you today that why we use TypeScript and why you should use TypeScript in your projects and how you can differentiate when to use TypeScript and JavaScript. So first of all, what is TypeScript? TypeScript, as we all know, JavaScript is a dynamically typed language, whereas TypeScript is statically typed language. So statically typed language in the sense in the it's that we define the type of a variable. So if we this is an example of a JavaScript file, and as we can see over here, we have function greeter person. So there is no type over here which what type of variable person is. So it can be string, number, boolean, anything. So in the case of TypeScript, we tend to add the type with colon and the type of the particular thing. So in the long run, when you have written 100,000 lines of code or 150,000 lines of code, and there are 3 or 4 developers working on that particular project, so you tend to write couple of variables in state and props and many other helper functions where you declare some variables, and at the same time with those variables you have you have couple of uh, more a couple of files with a lot of variables. So by defining the type in those variables helps other developers to know what you have written and what is the type of it and where that particular state or props can be used. So it in the long run and in a big project really helps you out. And now second things come where where you should write using TypeScript and where you should write using JavaScript. So when it comes to having code base less than a 50,000, then I would suggest that you stick with the JavaScript because TypeScript has many restrictions to it, and when it comes to 50,000 lines of code, then that thing is acceptable. But if you tend to cross 50,000 lines of code, and in future you believe that you will be coding for a big company, or you are coding on a project which tends to increase in near future, then make sure you use TypeScript from the day one. And what is the drawback of TypeScript, which I have noticed up till now, is just if you have more than 20-30,000 lines of code, it tends to take a bit of time if compared with if I compare with the projects written in JavaScript. The JavaScript tends to load much faster and reflect on the screen much faster than TypeScript. But TypeScript takes time, but at the same time, it gives you a complete, uh, statically typed environment. So there are seven data types in TypeScript, which are as follows: number. There's no int and float. There's only number, boolean, string, undefined, null, and one or two more, I guess. So whatever it is, we will be focusing on any. So any type is basically will declare an interface. So interface is first of all interface is defining what will be the type, what will be the variable type used in a particular class. So how we if we are using a state, so all the variables in that particular state, let's suppose I have a state of name and age. So name should be string, and age should be number. So this thing is defined in interface for that particular class. So the naming convention starts with I, then the class name, and what it is, state. It is a state interface. So it's I means interface. It is for app class, and it is a state. So we'll be defining, let's suppose, age, and it should be of type number, and we will be having one more thing that can be, let's suppose, name. It can be of type any. So we'll see how it is different, the what uh, how any is used. So over here, we the class tends to take two interfaces. First is for the props, and the second one is for the state. So we have for the state, but we don't have it for the props. So we're gonna declare any over there, and we're gonna call the constructor props. So we have declared the props of type any. So we'll write any over there as well, any. And yes, we have to do super, and super should take props. Yes. So now when it comes to this dot, sorry, this dot state, we can see there is an error, and what it is saying, that type braces is missing the following properties from type I app state. So age and name is missing. So this kind of interlicense, or just guidance from the editor itself, it's amazing. I mean, when it comes to big projects. So we know that age is of integer, but if I do it 0, then it's gonna point out that age can not be string, it has to be of type number. So I have to do number, and at the same time, if I had to go for name, and if I do string, it's fine with it. If I do 0, it's fine with it. If I do true, it's fine with it, because the type over here, it's any. So any can take any kind of type, I mean data type. So that's what I wanted to tell you. And over here, if I would have written something like, in next video I will be talking about props, so I will be telling you what to write over here and how it can be useful. So I hope you got an overview how data types work in this particular thing. I will be removing name from it, and just wanted to make it very simple, so that you will get to know that how we can declare state in TypeScript in React, and how we can update it. So now I have the number, my number, or sorry, we'll do it my age, and we'll make it this dot state dot age. The code completion is pretty good. It's much better than JavaScript, at least, and given that it's a Visual Studio Code, not a high-end editor by like Webster or something, the code completion is really great. So we're gonna have we're gonna have a function which will be update. We can say increment age. It's a very simple one. So we're gonna take it. We're gonna do this dot set state, and we're gonna declare age. So before age, we'll get the age from the state. So we're gonna do age this dot state. Now we can do age plus 1. So those who are new to React and have never seen this particular what is age and what is the props and other stuff, I'll tell you. Increment age. So first of all, let me just complete it. We're gonna bind it. What is the meaning of binding in it? That this, you're gonna bind this to this particular function. We're gonna bind this class to this particular function, so that we can call this dot set state, and we can access all the variables which are in here in this particular class, can be accessed over here. So anyway, the main reason for this tutorial and the main topic of this tutorial is state. The state is basically a variable holding some value, and we have the value over here as of now is 0. So if you're going to do yarn start or npm start, if you're doing npm, so if I do yarn start, it's going to show me my age, this dot state or age. So this means this particular class, the state over here, and the state, and we can access the property from it, which is age. And again, we have a number, we have a button which with a plus sign and plus plus text in it, which or if we click it, it's gonna call this particular increment age function. So once the increment age function is called, our state is being changed. So as we can see over here, it's just gonna load that, that my age is 0, but if I press plus over here, then it's gonna increase. Similarly, if I create one more over here and I do it minus, and instead of increment I write decrement age. I don't know if the spelling is right or wrong. That's not the issue. We can we can just have to copy paste the code over here. We can just write, instead of plus we will do minus 1, and again at the same time we can do copy paste, and over here we have to bind it so that this can be used within that function. So if I do minus, okay, let me check what is the problem. Decrement age is, let's refresh it, and then so yes, as I'm doing minus, it is showing me that particular minus sign. So I hope you understood the tutorial, and I hope you understood why we need why we need to use TypeScript in React, and how it can be beneficial, and how the state is being declared in React if you're using TypeScript, and how we can define the data types of that particular state. So I hope you understood. And in next tutorial, I will be talking about the props, and I will be making tutorials on create React Kotlin app. So in that particular thing, we will be writing code in Kotlin instead of TypeScript or JavaScript, because I love Kotlin. I love Kotlin and Golang, and so that's why I will be making tutorials on that thing. And I feel it can be a bit beneficial if we are writing, because we can write servers in Kotlin using Spring Boot, or maybe using Kotor framework by Kotlin itself, and we can write Android apps into it. We can write native desktop apps using Kotlin native. We can write in the web browser. So Kotlin is very new, very dynamic, and even though it's statically typed, but it gives you many feature. It is full of features, and can help, and the presentation of the code when you write in Kotlin is anytime better than any other language. It is my own personal opinion, but you guys can guide me if you really like Kotlin or TypeScript, on what thing you want to the tutorials to be on, so that I can prioritize that particular thing and then make the tutorials which I want to make myself, or maybe a bit later. So I hope you understood the video and what is the need of TypeScript, when to use TypeScript and when to use JavaScript, and what is the only drawback of the TypeScript when it comes to big projects, and what is the advantage of TypeScript when it comes to big projects again. So thank you so much guys for watching the tutorial. Do like the video if you like it, and do subscribe my channel because it really motivates me to make new videos. Stay tuned, we'll be releasing more videos on TypeScript and Kotlin, and thank you so much.